Hey, thanks for tuning in. And it's Monday today. On Friday, I was super annoying. I was out at dinner, a beautiful place just off James Street in Brisbane, Italian European bistro with Kirsty Lewis from the School of Facilitation. Kirsty and I did a walk the previous week and she's heading off to New Zealand. So we had just a beautiful meal, but I became a really annoying person about halfway through dinner. We've had a glass of bubbles, glass of red, and then something happened. Oh yeah, that's right. I was talking about my presentation / workshop / experiment with Project Management Institute Queensland on the Wednesday night, and how what I'd done was, rather than having flip charts or even a slideshow, I actually hooked up my iPad to my MacBook, and then I was able to draw on my iPad and project everything off my iPad onto the screen. And the reason I did that is because in 45 minutes, we were actually going to create a workshop for someone in the room, for Val. So shout out to Val. And he suggested a topic. It was moving from engineers to engagers. Really fun. And so we created his workshop in, like I said, in 45 minutes. But in order to do that, I had to have my Spark sheet, which is my version of a run sheet for workshops. So I had that projected on the screen, drawing on it live. And I was just sharing that with Kirsty. It was a cool way to do it. And so she's like, of course, how did you do that? And I was like, oh yeah, just hook your iPad up to your MacBook. And she's like, oh, I don't use any Apple products. That triggered me. I don't know what came over me. And I'm like, what? You don't use any Apple products? Oh my goodness. How do you do anything? And honestly, I think a lot of people always comment and remark how quick I am at doing things. And honestly, it's because of the tech that I use. The technology is the engine room. And Apple products are, oh my goodness, so intuitive. There's no friction. And the reason I'm able to do a lot of work when I'm outside is because I'm using my iPhone, which then mirrors onto my MacBook Air. Everything has got AirDropping, so I don't have to email files to myself. It's just the handoff between devices, I think, is worth it alone. But it's being able to connect my iPad into my MacBook, use QuickTime to mirror the iPad screen, project that. Again, I don't know how you do that on a Windows operating system. I've had people in the past that are like, oh, Leanne, how do I do videos? I'm like, okay, what computer do you use? And I've got Windows. I'm like, I can't help you out, sorry. And I don't want to be rude, but it's I just think if you're serious around, and this is probably what I landed on, what Kirsty and I were talking about, I view myself as a media company, not a consulting business. And so if I view myself as a media company and I'm all about creating media, I want the best media tools around. And yes, there are other computers in the world. And maybe you're listening to this and you're not on the Apple thing, and I've totally drunk the Kool-Aid. But just something about the handoff, the fact that I can be at my desktop, my phone's in another room, but if an important message comes through, I can respond to that. A lot of the time with two-factor authorization as well, or authentication, you log into a website and it SMSs you the password. I can still have my phone in another room, but take that password off messages on my desktop and respond to it. And so that's how I'm able to perhaps use my phone, as in not have to have my phone with me all the time, because I've got this handoff available on, just with the whole infrastructure and ecosystem that's set up. I think now though, there's tools like Descript, which run off Windows and run off Mac, which are extremely, that's an insane editing tool that you can use. It's how I record my podcast. So yes, you don't need to have this stuff, but I'm just saying if you want ease, if you want speed, it just feels good, like the handoff, then I would suggest going Apple. And so I was thinking, what Apple products do I actually have? I have the iPhone 15. I don't have the Pro. I just have the regular iPhone. I don't think I need the Pro. So then when you get into, actually, as I think about the next iPhone with the AI features, I'd probably want to upgrade and get the Pro. But for now, what I've got is suitable. And I think I can run that for another year or two at least. The camera's beautiful. I've got 256 gigabyte on that. I've got over 100 gigabyte free because I have signed up to the Apple Cloud 1 terabyte a month plan. So that has all my photos and everything synced into iCloud. So when I create, when I start, if I do start a new iPhone in a few years, it'll just look like my old phone because everything is on the cloud and synced up together. I have the Apple Watch 8. I first got my Apple Watch in 2017. That was my original one. And I only upgraded the watch maybe 2 years ago. And that was just because of battery life. I didn't really need to otherwise. But love it. It tracks all my workouts, linked into Apple Health. It's awesome. I have AirPods. I don't have the noise cancelling ones because I think that's quite dangerous if you're out running. I know there's an option of turning it off, but I just wanted to keep it simple. So I got the AirPods, which are great. So when I'm running, people can message me. I can get SMSs, stuff on Messenger, and I can respond with Siri like just by talking it through without having to pick my phone up. I love that. It reads my messages to me, which is kind of fun. And I also like on AirPods, I've set it up so in my right ear, when I click the AirPod twice when it's in my ear, it fast forwards a song. If I like a song, on my left ear, I hit it once and it repeats the song. I like that. I think that's really cool. Like rewinds it to the start. So don't have to take out my phone from anywhere to do that. I have the iPad Air 11, and that's just the Air because I only needed the light version. I'm doing anything super highly creative. It's really more using it as a larger iPhone for apps. For a lot of the stuff I do on Zoom calls is sharing my screen and writing on top of it. And I use a lot of notes. Notability is probably the app I use the most on my iPad, just to store a lot of docs, slides, annotate, dream big, all that sort of stuff. It's really fun. With that, I've got the Apple Pencil Pro, which is a beautiful writing experience on that. I have Apple AirTags. So when I go traveling, I throw them in to my bags, and then that tracks, it pings off other Bluetooth devices and lets you know where your bag is at a certain point in time. And then I'm recording all of this on my laptop, which is the MacBook Air M1 2020. So prior to this, I've had MacBook Pros the whole time, but when it was time to get a new computer, I realized that like when I travel, I just want my backpack to be, or whatever I'm carrying, to be as light as possible. And the M1 chip, there's now an M2 chip out, by the way. The M1 chip is insanely powerful. So the MacBook Air is, I think, the best buy for the price and for the power and for what you can do. The MacBook Air M1 was a steal. It's not really slow. I can do all my media videos. It doesn't crash. I think the M2 will be even better. But yeah, for the value, that's great. I've got 16 megabyte memory in that. I don't know what all the other specs are. So yeah, that is my Apple Air stack. I definitely am team Apple, as you can hear. And sorry, Kirsty, for just being like, what? I don't understand how you're not on the Apple bandwagon. But yeah, I think it's just more of an identity thing. And for the lack of friction, ease of use, speed, power, design, ease, all of it, it's the best system to go with. So definitely love Apple. If you have a better tech stack, if you think, no, Leanne, you haven't realized that this is what this, let me know. Are you team Apple? Do you love something else? I'd love to hear what you use. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.